South America is a beautiful continent, full of culture, history, sports, and many more. It contains some of the most beautiful countries and cities in the world, such as Brazil, São Paulo, and Rio de Janeiro, very well known around the world. Indigenous culture, indigenous people, are still a big topic in modern society, due to the fact that the population of indigenous people in South America is approximately 50 million. Just to put that into perspective, that is enough to fill the largest college football stadium in the US 464 times over. Around 49% of that 50 million indigenous people are moving into urban areas, and that is to larger cities, countries, or any other more populated and modernized areas. Difficulties are encountered in that journey, and the people are impacted negatively. Hello, my name is Pedro Pessoa, and today I'm going to be talking about the effect of cultural change on indigenous people in South America. My research question is, to what extent has the construction of social evolution in South America affected the population of indigenous people? Based on the information gathered from several academic journals, I was able to conclude that several aspects of indigenous people's lives were negatively affected. First, being health, with the plague being a major contributor to that aspect. Second would be the social aspect on how indigenous people interact to modern civilization. Third, we have the internet, which is how indigenous people deal with technology. Starting out with health, we have this map from Robert S. Walker. It shows to the location of where indigenous people live and where the information was gathered. This is the northern part of South America, and some of the countries that are surrounding this area would be Brazil, Peru, Colombia, and Ecuador, with some of the main villages located in Baquari, Wadi, and Cinta Larga. Now we have this graph from Robert S. Walker. On the right side, we have the variables, which some of the main areas would be year of contact and mortality rates. On the left side, we have the years, which would be from 1874 to 1987. And as you can see from the numbers, the mortality rates went from 0.002 to 0.83. As it was seen from the graph pulled from Robert S. Walker, death rates have significantly increased since 1874 in the indigenous population in Greater Amazonia. The medium epidemic in that sample occurred in 1965, afflicting indigenous population of 180 people, of which 18% or 32 individuals died within a year. The range of mortality rates across epidemics is immense, varying from less than 1% to over 97%. Now to the social aspect. Social work can be traced back through many forms of voluntary work by religious and cultural institutions such as Guti, which is a clan-based association. Not just that, but there's also Darashala and Patipua, which are public and free resting places for the poor and indigenous people. In these locations, information can be gathered on several tribes and indigenous people that stay in those locations. Information can be gathered through the reactions and how indigenous people adapt in heavily populated places. In this map, we can see, again, from South America, more to the left side, we have the two main tribes that were researched, and some of the main areas would be Ashninka and Paitaisuri, which would be in this red box. Two main tribes that adopted technology would be Ashninka, as said before, and Paitaisuri, resulting in technology being a key aspect of defense of their territories. It also involved and contributed to the establishment of strategic partnership for the projects and strengthening of their ethnic identities. Internet has changed and evolved how indigenous people were living, and it has impacted them, and it made consequences into their own lives. This would have many long-term effects, and it was a key for their society and a key of their environment. The three main areas where social evolution affected indigenous people of South America would first start out with health, where the plague of modern civilization stormed indigenous societies, where death rates were skyrocketing. 2, social aspects were seen through several examples of moments indigenous people were in and out of ordinary environments, and studies were conducted. Specific locations of religious and cultural institutions of Guti and Darsala. 3rd, internet completely shifted to lifestyle of Ashninka tribe and Paitaisuri. Technology was heavily implemented over time and was seen as a key aspect of survival factor of the tribes. Thank you.
All right, 2 questions I have for you. First up, what information did you need before you began your research?
Could you repeat that, please?
What information did you need before you even started your research?
Well, I needed to know a lot about the locations because in Brazil or in South America, there was plenty of indigenous tribes, and it was well seen that I needed that information to get started with the topic, because if I did not have the background information of where all the information was coming from, I would not know where to start.
Okay. And what advice would you have for researchers who do this topic in the future?
In the future, I would recommend for researchers to find authors straight from Brazil or South Americans, because they have the best information and the best context to where to access the information, and they are the ones that I would recommend for the next person to research.